This was a really interesting campaign this year. We shifted gears just a little bit. Last year, you might remember we focused a lot on digital and radio in the mix, but kind of a legacy thing. More of it was on the radio side of things, and we introduced more of a digital capacity. This year, we shifted more toward digital for a couple of reasons, I guess, Robin, because we can actually see how often people went to the website and where from they went to the website, which ads sent them to the website. So more reportability. But secondly, we're beginning to suspect that a lot of utility safety partners' audience is interested in digital campaigns. So first off with the digital campaign this year, when we say digital campaign, where did people see these ads? Was it just, those banner ads that come across the internet? Where did they see digital ads?
Some of those, but no, a bit more sophisticated than that. So we ran on the two main ad channels that are out there, the 800-pound gorillas when it comes to digital advertising. That is Google and that is Meta, or Facebook plus Instagram. Last year, we also ran some ads in Twitter, but we realized after running those ads, that's not an effective channel for us. We saw the success we had in Google and Facebook, so you know what? We go all in with those. And so what we did was within Facebook, we had a handful of ads that we ran. Those ran on all different kinds of Facebook placements, all different kinds of Instagram placements, and all different shapes and sizes. The audiences that we used were principally the homeowner audience and the gaming audience again. And that was something that we picked up on last year, and that worked really well for us.
So when people are sitting at home and they're watching hockey, or I guess in the summer they're watching baseball, they're watching those Blue Jays.
Yep. Well, don't get me started.
And they're scrolling through their phone mindlessly like this. Chances are they saw one of our ads.
Oh, chances are at least a few of the ads skipped by them.
I saw lots.
At some point they would have actually laid eyes on an ad, and a lot of people obviously interacted with it. Yeah.
And if they're gaming on the internet, playing their game, socializing with colleagues, which is not just for the 13, 14-year-olds. Gaming
we know
something we dipped into it last year. Huge audience for us and a big driver. So if they're gaming on the internet, one of our ads might have come across.
Well, more so, I think if they're gaming on the internet, what they're doing is they're going into our targeting bucket, right? Oh, you play games? Great. We want to talk to you. And so consequently, when they're doing usually other things on the internet, browsing websites, on Facebook, on Instagram, on myriad different apps and websites that are controlled by both Google and Facebook, they're now part of our audience bucket. So we've identified them as a gamer, and in other ways we've identified them maybe as a homeowner. They go into that bucket, and then they get served our ads.
We're profiling, which is what marketing does
100%.
Today.
Yeah,
bad
that's
term,
what we
but
do.
We're profiling. Okay, how did these different channels perform?
Well, they did well. They did very well. I'll say within Google, we ran a couple of different ad types as well. So within Google Video, which most people know as YouTube advertising, it does go a bit beyond that, but YouTube advertising is the simplest way to state it. We had a handful of different video ads that we were running. And then Google has this very specialized, relatively new style of ad called Performance Max that really leverages Google's AI to seek out and show ads to the people that are most likely to engage. We did do this last year and we had great success, so we continued it this year. But in terms of results, you get ready for some big numbers here. Over 211 million impressions for ads. So that's the number of total times the ads were at least visible on screen. 211 million.
Yeah, and that's multiple people. That's half the population of all of Alberta.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that could be people seeing the ads multiple times.
And that's part of the trick, right? It's not one ad. One impression of an ad is very unlikely to get someone to interact with it. So it is a bit of a numbers game there, but it's very sophisticated in its targeting. In terms of clicks, we had 1.25 million clicks on these ads. So these are clicks on the ads that take people to the Utility Safety Partners website. And in terms of video views, just under 7.5 million video views. So we overall have some really outstanding coverage here, reaching Albertans with these ads, and not just the image ads, but running the videos as well. It was really kind of a full court press over the summer.
That's outstanding. Are we
Yeah.
able to see, they click on the ads, are we able to see what kind of traffic that drove to the website for Utility Safety Partners? And overall, of all the traffic that went to the website, how much of it was from the ad campaign?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. I can tell you that there's a couple of key metrics that we measure when people click on the ads and they come to the website. The first one is average session duration. So that's to say how long on average do people spend on the website. It's not to say that, we want them to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes on the website. No, we want them to get what they need on that site. So we're not talking about huge lengths of time, but what I can tell you is that we did see a 60% improvement on average session duration this year. So what that tends to mean is that the targeting is right on point. People are spending an average of 1 minute and 17 seconds on the website when they come from the ad campaigns, compared to 48 seconds last year. And so they're engaged with the site. So that means we're bringing the right people in. The other key metric is the number of visits that we get to the submit a locate page. So these are people that sort of take that extra step and say, oh yes, I'm either going to, request a locate for the utilities, or I'm interested to know what the process is. These are some crazy numbers. Last year, we sent just under 1,000 people to that page. This year, we had over 60,000 people, or 60,000 visits to that page. That's like a 6,370% increase. So these are numbers, I think, that are really meaningful, that we are driving so many more people to that locate request page.
And when they're spending that 60 some odd seconds on the site, which is very functional, does that also suggests that the site itself is well put together, that people are getting what they need? It's out
That's
of our
just
control.
Yeah. Oh, it is out of our control from an ad campaign, in the sense that, once you send someone to the site, okay, the ad campaign has kind of done its job. It's now up to the website to, do what we want them to do. But we also need to make sure that the ads that we're putting out there, they sort of make a promise that the website has to deliver on. So the ads are saying, hey, be safe, dig safe, click before you dig, this kind of idea. When they come to the website, it has to echo that same message, and it has to guide them in a good way to getting the information they need and ultimately going to the submit a locate request page. And I think we saw that really did happen, particularly this year. It was very effective.
And overall website visits, our ad campaign was part of the reason people went to the website. How do we know it was our campaign that sent them to the website? Secondly, what percentage of the overall website visits in the time period that we were running the ad campaign were due to the ad campaign?
Yeah, I think the number there is, I think it's about, it's between 85 to 90% of all of the traffic that went to the website came from the ad campaign. Between the period of April 13th and September 30th when we were running this. So a huge proportion of the website traffic comes from these ads.
Okay. And is it just Calgary and Edmonton? All them city folk, are they the ones that are hitting the website with their high-speed internet?
Well, certainly we did get really good coverage in Calgary and Edmonton, but perhaps surprisingly, they didn't even reach over 50% of all of the ad traffic. We actually had just under 52% was rural. And when we talk urban, we're including Calgary and Edmonton, but we also throw Lethbridge and Red Deer into that bucket. And still, we have just under 52% as rural visitors.
That's fantastic. So only 48% of the website visits from the ad campaign were Lethbridge, Red Deer, Calgary, or Edmonton.
You got it.
Everyone else was from outside.
Yep.
So what does that say to the digital campaign with this rural-urban divide? A digital campaign is starting to really have impact in rural areas.
It is reaching all Albertans, and I think that is obviously very important. Utility locates and this kind of stuff, they don't just happen in big cities. They happen all throughout the province. So it's vital that we reach everyone in the province. And we do know, maybe we'll get to this later, that rural Albertans do face challenges that city folks don't.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just digging in a bit more granularly, one of the key metrics in a digital campaign that you look for is cost per click. How much is it costing me just to get someone to click the mouse? How did we do on the campaign?
Yeah, we saw some really great improvements. So, looking at Facebook, for example, our cost per click were down 37%. When these costs per click go down, obviously what that means is our dollars turn into more clicks, more activity, more visits to the website. Cost per click on the Google video or the YouTube ads, they were actually down 5%, which is fantastic. But the cost per video view was down 27%. So again, the dollars go a lot further there with getting these ads in front of Albertans. And finally, with Performance Max, a 39.5% decrease in cost per click. So some really great improvements overall. And in fact, even on Facebook and Instagram, our social engagement was up 10% this year. So we really did make some great improvements in 2023.
And does that mean we just bought more effective ads, or does that mean that people are more likely that we're targeting the right audience, so to speak?
I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Ads are really about having the right message in front of the right person at the right time. The right message is the ads that we put together. The right person is the targeting, and that's a combination of what we do and what we allow the platforms to do. And then the right time is really on the platforms to make sure that they learn about who interacts with our ads best and when they do it in terms of time of day of week, what they're doing at the time. And so the algorithms and the platforms, they start to learn, as more data is accumulated, Google and Facebook start to figure out what works. And so over time, we do tend to see better results. But yeah, it is a combination of good ads and targeting as well.
Some more numbers. 52% of our digital campaign achieved in the rural areas of Alberta, what we're describing as the rural areas of Alberta. Statistically, 55% of Alberta's population is rural. So the digital campaign came really close. But we chose with the radio campaign this year to focus much more heavily on rural Alberta. We felt that was more effective. We weren't quite sure how effective the digital campaign would be. You talked about high-speed internet not being quite the same in some parts of Alberta. So with the radio campaign this year, we shifted from 53 stations in 2022 to 47 radio stations in 2023. All 6 of those that we cut out of the mix, they were all Calgary and Edmonton. So only one station in Edmonton and one station in Calgary ran the radio ads. Good stations, strong stations, but we shifted all of our attention and all of our budget dollars, which of course have a limit to them, over to the rural areas, and we did get some good results as well. Now, I can't attribute it quite the same way that you can. We cut our overall budget on the radio side by 33%, shifting that over to the digital campaign, and we achieved 2,387 and a half minutes or 40 hours overall of radio ads, which 40 hours, that's like a working week, and it worked for us. That's full of 30-second ads, and some of them were in multiple languages as well. Same thing that we did in 2022. We achieved ads in Cantonese, in Mandarin, in Punjabi, in Hindi, on some of the near Edmonton radio stations. So we did achieve on the radio side and got some good coverage, but when you consider that's mainly rural, Robin, for the radio campaign, overall, this campaign really stressed the rural areas, which has to happen.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, Doug. I'm curious if you've got thoughts about the so-called digital divide, right? That, is it true that rural Albertans don't really have sufficient internet speeds?
Well, so in a single word, yes. The Alberta Broadband Strategy, which is an independent group from government, receives funding from the federal government and the provincial government. That's the entity that's trying to make sure that internet speeds are up to par for all Albertans. And statistically, it says that 500,000 Albertans don't have the internet speed they need to work from home right now. So that's how they measure. They don't look at is it high speed, medium speed, slow speed, no internet at all. But can you work effectively from home? 500,000 Albertans can't. 2/3 of those are rural Albertans, and 80% are Indigenous communities. So we definitely need to remedy this. It'll take about $1 billion in funding to get that kind of fiber optic connectivity all throughout Alberta. 3/4 of the funding is in from the provincial and federal governments, so they have about $750 million in funding to achieve this. The rest is construction, and it's going to take 5 years plus to accomplish this. So over time, the digital divide is beginning to erode, and we're seeing pieces of this with the digital campaign, where 52% of the campaign was rural.
Interesting.
Robin, always great to work with you. I appreciated this again this year, so thanks.
Doug, a pleasure. Yes, I really look forward to 2024 and seeing what we can do next year.
Yeah, hopefully we're back in a click.
Indeed.